Hi, this is Mox Moxley. I am going to present how to do paper marbling, ink floating on water, the simplest method that I have found over the course of the last year. What you'll need is a small bowl. It could be any size bowl, but you want it to be shallow, and white is really helpful because you can see your design before you print it. So you'll fill this with water. You're going to need brushes, and this is the cheapest calligraphy brush I could find, and it's a little fuller, and that is because so it can hold the ink. You'll just be touching the very tip to the surface of the ink, but I've seen people squeeze it so that you can squeeze out more ink. I use a fine brush for the surfactant, which is just water and 2 drops of dish soap in a 1/4 cup. And the paper I'm going to be using today is also an Asian calligraphy paper of a grade noted Hosho, and this is sturdy enough to take the ink but not dissolve in your hands without treating the paper. I've added a couple of things to my setup of shallow dish with a light bottom and water, brushes, surfactant, which is water with 2 drops of dishwashing liquid, and ink. I have cut some rice paper to size, and then I also have newspaper, which I'll use for cleaning off the top of the water. In fact, before you start, it's often good to clean it up once, because that breaks the surface tension a little bit. Some people say it's good to have your ink on one side, and I fill the brush pretty full, and your surfactant on the other, so you don't mess it up. So your first one will go out, spread out pretty much, and here is the surfactant, ink, surfactant, ink, surfactant, ink, surfactant. From here, which is the very basics of the floating ink paper marbling, you can blow on it. Go back into it. Give it a stir. And wherever it reaches a stage you like, again, I'm using rice paper from a roll, you lay it down. Some people push it into the water and accomplish the rinse. I'm using this rice paper because you get a nice dark print and it doesn't run. There isn't any ink left over on the surface of the water. It's a little gray. That doesn't hurt anything. It's not necessarily to clean it off. The binder in the ink is of some sort of viscosity that's different than the water. So the surface, it has a slightly different surface tension to the water, so they don't quite mix. Here's the surfactant. You can see where there's too much ink on the black brush, and when that happens, it just drops through the surface of the water and lands on the bottom. It doesn't affect the print in any way at all, except that the water might be a little murkier on the next time around. But I'm looking for some bigger dark areas. I'm going to use the surfactant to chase it away from the edges a little bit. You can make snowman shapes. Or one of the things you can do is flick the surfactant over the surface. I'm going to introduce a little color. I'm going to let it settle a little bit and talk. So I have tried all kinds of different colors. Watercolors, I've tried gouache, I've tried traditional Asian ink sticks, and I've tried different brands of acrylic ink. This FW brand is the one that, again, works the most foolproof.